August 17th, 1943, 0930 hours. Rechlin Test Center, 90 kilometers north of Berlin. Oberleutnant Hans-Joachim Jabs, one of the Luftwaffe's most decorated twin-engine night fighter aces, stood on the sun-baked tarmac, staring at the ugliest aircraft he had ever seen. Twin booms, twin engines, a cockpit nacelle shaped like an afterthought. The captured American P-38 Lightning shimmered under armed guard, the morning sun glinting off its polished metal skin. Everything about it violated German principles of aircraft design. And yet, as Jabs stepped closer, something inside him shifted. Not fear, not admiration, unease. Because the engineers at Rechlin weren't showing him this aircraft for curiosity or research. They were showing it to him because something about this American machine, something hidden beneath the metal, had shaken the Luftwaffe High Command. Reichsmarschall Göring himself had ordered combat evaluation, classified, Geheime Kommando-Sache, only trusted pilots. Jabs didn't know why, but he was about to. 3 days earlier, August 14th, 1943, 22:15 hours, IV/NJG-1 Operations Room, Lüneburg. Jabs had just returned from a night mission over Hamburg. 2 RAF Lancasters shot down in the darkness. His 49th and 50th victories. Waiting for him on the teletype was an order unlike anything he had ever received. NCO. Jabs, report Rechlin Test Center, 0816 August, Reichsmarschall Göring priority. Combat evaluation. Captured enemy aircraft. Test pilots evaluated captured machines. Engineers wrote reports. Combat pilots fought. This was irregular, and irregular orders in the Luftwaffe of 1943 were rarely good news. The next morning, he boarded a lumbering Ju-52 transport to Rechlin, Germany's largest testing complex. 400 hectares of hangars, laboratories, wind tunnels, and classified research. Waiting for him was Hauptmann Klaus Becker, one of the Luftwaffe's most respected technical officers. His first words were, "Oberleutnant Jabs, what you are about to see is top secret. You will speak of this evaluation to no one." They walked past rows of captured Spitfires, Thunderbolts, B-17 cylinders cut open for analysis, stripped-down Mustangs, all neatly repainted in Luftwaffe markings. Then, Becker stopped at Hangar 7. Inside waited the aircraft that had triggered Göring's personal attention. The P-38 Lightning, captured intact after an emergency landing in France. The Lightning sat beneath floodlights like a mechanical animal dissected in mid-motion. Becker handed Jabs a thick dossier. He said, "We have flown it 12 hours. We have ground-tested it for 47. Now we need a combat pilot's judgment." Jabs' first impression was brutally honest. Ugly. The twin booms created blind spots. The central nacelle felt vulnerable. The nose wheel looked fragile. A Bf-109, he said, could exploit those angles in a dogfight. Becker nodded, but encouraged him to look deeper. Jabs climbed onto the wing. That's when he noticed the first thing that truly disturbed him. The surfaces were smooth. Perfectly smooth. Flush rivets, seamless joints, standardized panels. Nothing hand-fitted, nothing improvised. German fighters required craftsmanship. Filing, hammering, adjusting. But this aircraft looked like it had rolled straight off a conveyor belt. Identical, repeatable, industrial. Then he examined the nose. A 20mm Hispano cannon. 4.50 caliber Browning machine guns, all mounted in the nose. German fighters mounted guns in the wings, Pilots had to calculate convergence distance. But the P-38, point and shoot, no convergence, no adjustment, no margin for error. Jabs swallowed. Then Becker quietly said, "That is not what concerns us." And he led Jabs to the engine test cell. One Allison V1710 engine sat fully disassembled, every component labeled and measured. Becker handed Jabs a flight test report. Page 7 stopped Jabs cold. Test pilot Werner Hoffman simulated single-engine failure at 6,000 meters. Aircraft remains stable. Completed full circuit on one engine for 90 minutes. Jabs' heart sank. The Bf-110, his own aircraft, was a death trap on one engine. Asymmetric thrust would roll it uncontrollably. Most pilots bailed out instead of attempting a landing. But this American aircraft, it could fly for 90 minutes on one engine. Climb, turn, fight. How? Becker pointed. Counter-rotating propellers eliminated torque. Engine mounts close to the center line minimized yaw. Twin booms distributed weight symmetrically. Huge vertical stabilizers kept control authority. German aircraft were designed for performance. American aircraft were designed for survivability. That difference, that philosophy, hit Jabs harder than any bomber stream ever had. 1100 hours, Rechlin briefing room. Becker rolled out maps of Europe. He said, "This is the true threat." The P-38's combat radius with drop tanks, 650 miles. Jabs froze. A 650-mile radius from England reached all of France, all of Belgium, the Ruhr, Hamburg, Berlin, Munich. Germany had built fighter doctrine around one assumption: enemy bombers will run out of escort. But the P-38 meant there was no beyond escort range. For every German fighter with 15 minutes of combat time, the P-38 had 90 minutes. If 100 P-38s escorted a bomber formation and 200 German fighters scrambled, Germans attack, Germans break off for fuel, P-38 stay, Germans re-scramble, Germans break off again, P-38 still stay. The escorts didn't need to win dogfights. They only needed to outlast. A high-energy cheerleader helping with administrative tasks. And outlasting would eventually destroy German air defense. 1400 hours. Rechlin, Industrial Analysis Section. This was where Becker showed him the secret Göring feared most. P-38 production rate in America, 200 per month. But that was only one fighter. P-47 Thunderbolt, 350 per month. P-51 Mustang, 400 per month. P-40 Warhawk, 200 per month. Total American fighter output, 1,150 fighters per month. Germany's output, 1,600 fighters per month. On paper, Germany looked competitive. But then Becker showed him the engine data. America wasn't just producing fighters. They were producing engines in parallel at multiple factories. Allison V1710, Pratt & Whitney R2800, Packard built Merlin engines, Wright R2600 series. A single American engine plant produced more engines per month than Germany produced fighters. Then Becker placed aerial photos of American factories on the table. Ford's Willow Run plant, producing one B-24 bomber every 63 minutes. Boeing Seattle, endless lines of B-17s under construction. Douglas Aircraft, assembly halls big enough to house entire squadrons. One Willow Run factory was larger than all of Messerschmitt's combined, and America had dozens. For the first time in 2 years of combat, Hans-Joachim Jabs felt something no German ace ever admitted: hopelessness. 1630 hours.
Rechlin tarmac. Jabs stood beside the ugly American fighter, sunlight reflecting off its twin booms. He thought of everything he had seen. A twin-engine aircraft that survived single-engine failure. Perfectly interchangeable parts. A 650-mile combat radius. A nation that could build more fighters per month than Germany could shoot down. An industry operating on a scale the Reich could never match. Becker approached. "Your assessment, Oberleutnant." Jabs spoke slowly. "A skilled Bf-109 pilot can beat a P-38. But that is irrelevant." He turned to face the lightning. "What matters is that America can build 200 of these every month. What matters is that they designed it to survive failures that kill our pilots. What matters is that they can escort bombers anywhere in Germany." He looked Becker in the eye. "We are fighting an enemy who does not need to build better aircraft, only more aircraft. And they can build more aircraft than we can ever shoot down." Becker nodded, the weight of the truth visible on his face. Would the High Command change anything? Jabs already knew the answer. Jabs returned to his unit. He flew 47 more missions, scored 28 more victories, survived the war. But on August 17, 1943, he had seen the truth firsthand. Germany had not lost the skies because of tactics. Germany had lost because of industry, because of fuel, because of logistics, because America could replace aircraft faster than the Luftwaffe could destroy them. The P-38, ugly, awkward, ungainly, had revealed a reality the Reich refused to face. Quantity has a quality all its own. Thank you for watching. If you found this story valuable, please like and subscribe. Where are you watching from? And what other forgotten stories about the collapse of German air power would you like us to cover next? Your engagement helps us bring more lost history back to life. The P-38 Lightning was never designed to be beautiful. It wasn't meant to inspire admiration on the ground. It wasn't built to win air shows.
It was built to win wars. And in the summer of 1943, deep inside the heart of the Reich, one German pilot realized a truth far more devastating than any bombing raid. A truth not taught in flight schools, not written in doctrine, not acknowledged in briefings. A truth the Luftwaffe tried desperately to ignore. The war in the air would not be won by aces. It would be won by factories. Because Hans-Joachim Jabs stood beside that captured Lightning, that strange American machine with its twin booms and oversized parts, he wasn't just evaluating an aircraft. He was witnessing a civilization-sized shift in warfare. The shift from craftsmanship to mass production, from pilot skill to industrial endurance, from nations fighting battles to nations fighting economies. The P-38, with all its odd shapes and awkward angles, revealed a terrifying reality. America could afford to lose aircraft. Germany could not. Every P-38 destroyed could be replaced the same month. Every German aircraft destroyed took precious labor, scarce materials, and dwindling fuel. In that hangar at Rechlin, Jabs wasn't looking at an airplane. He was looking at the future. A future Germany no longer competed with. A future where surviving a mission mattered more than maneuverability, where standardized parts mattered more than polished finishes, where quantity didn't just matter, quantity dictated destiny. And for the Luftwaffe, that destiny was already written. Not in the skies over Europe, but in the assembly lines of Detroit, Seattle, and Los Angeles. Wars are often remembered for the heroes who fought them,
but they are shaped by the nations that built the machinery behind them. The P-38 was never the fastest, never the prettiest, never the most beloved, but it didn't need to be. Its purpose was simple: to fly farther, survive longer, and ensure that no bomber went unprotected again. In doing so, it helped break the Luftwaffe one mission, one escort, one factory run at a time. And in that sense, this ugly airplane changed the course of history. Thank you for joining us on this journey into a forgotten corner of World War II. If this story gave you a new perspective, if it helped you see the war through a lens rarely discussed, please take a moment to like this video. Your engagement helps us keep these stories alive. Subscribe to the channel for more true, deeply researched World War II documentaries, stories that go beyond the battles, beyond the headlines, and into the decisions, technologies, and human moments that shaped our world. Tell us where you're watching from. We want to hear your voice. And let us know what story you want next. The Mustang that terrified Göring? The jet program that nearly changed the war? The bomber crews who never returned? Or the aces whose victories came at impossible cost? Your suggestions shape the future episodes. Until then, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and remember, history isn't just something we read, it's something we carry.